G'day, we've got another quick used tool review for you today. Not a full tool set. This is a set of tools to a degree. It's not a full tool kit. It's not a roll cab or a cantilever box or a wall cab or anything like that that I've done previously. This is a bit more specific than this. This is reviewing Gearwrench gear spanners. I wanted a set of ratcheting spanners for the longest time. I remember when they became more prominent. I don't know if it was when they first came out. They might have first come out prior to my working career. But I remember when they became more prominent, just going, oh geez, I'd love a set of them. Ratcheting spanners just seem so luxurious. And I eventually got a set in about, I don't know, mid 2000s. I got a set of Sid Chrome like this with a lever. Reversible ratcheting spanners, and they were really good. They were beautiful to hold. They had a lovely mirror finish and rounded edge. They're probably some of the nicest spanners I've ever held, and I would say they're probably better than these. Let's just get that out of the way right now. Probably better than these. I don't have them anymore. The one thing that I lamented with that is they were a metric set, which was principally what I need is metric. Most of the stuff I do is metric. But the thing I lamented about that was I bought them, they were on a sale, they were a good price, I grabbed them, but they weren't big enough. They didn't go to the big sizes that I really wanted. They were just too small. There was might have been a set of 12 or something, or 10, and it just didn't give me the size range that I really, really wanted. So immediately after buying them, I was finding bigger nuts that I wanted to undo with a ratchet spanner, or I wanted to crack and then undo with a ratchet spanner, and I was a bit disappointed that I bought the set I did. So what I ended up doing is when these came up, when I found these for sale, I bought these. The principal motivator for me to buy Gearwrench, it's my first foray into Gearwrench. I hadn't owned any Gearwrench tools before these. I own a whole bunch of Gearwrench stuff now. But back then, it was my first foray into it. The principal reason I did it was price. So it was a really good special on a particular tool firm operating out of Western Australia. And they had this set, the metric set, for a really good price. And I looked at that compared to the other tool brands I was looking at, like SP Tools or King Chrome, Sid Chrome, whatever. And spanner for spanner, it was a good size range, and the number of spanners, it was very competitive with all those other brands. It was a good buy, a cheap buy in its own right. But to add a little bit more of a cherry on top, it came with these, the SAE or imperial set as well. So that goes up to 1 inch, I think. Yeah, that's inch, and then the metric set goes to 25 mil, which is inch. But there's more spanners in this than in this side. So with those together, for the money I paid, it was an absolute no-brainer. And I've heard a lot since I bought that set that Gearwrench are crap, you don't want to buy them, the quality's lacking. So I thought I'd try and address that. Now, should get out of the way first, is that in using Gearwrench ratcheting spanners, I don't use them generally, with a few exceptions, but I generally won't use them to crack a nut that needs a lot of purchase to crack. If I've got a rusty bolt underneath the tractor or underneath a ute that I know is going to really take a cracking, I'd probably put a breaker bar on it if I can, or an extendable ratchet or something to crack it. And then I'll use my ratcheting spanners to undo it, especially if it's in a tight spot. So if I can just crack it, then I'll use one of these to do it the rest of the way. So just put that out there, because that may impact your view on how my review stacks up with how you want to use a set of ratcheting spanners. So with a small size, with a 10 mil bolt, if I'm taking a headlight out of the ute or something, then I will grab the 10 mil ratcheting spanner and I'll just crack it and undo it. So I know that's not going to be excessive strain. So I haven't broken any. Yes, sorry, I have broken one. I have broken one. I have broken my 13 mil, I think. Is that 13? Yeah, I have broken my 13 mil spanner and I have had it replaced. So I broke it. there must be something like a little bearing inside it that flicks on the switch. Anyway, I had the switch came out and the ring came out, and I had all the pieces, and I took it in to get fixed, and anyway, long story short, Gearwrench sent me out a new one, which is really good. So they honoured their warranty, so big plus to you there, Gearwrench. Thank you very much. And you sent me some swag as well. Not knowing that I was going to do this video, I bought this set. So I bought this in 2013. So I've been using it, sorry, not 2013, I bought it in 2014. So I've been using it for 6 years, and I broke one spanner and it was replaced under warranty. And so kudos Gearwrench, that's a big thing. I like to be able to have if I'm going to do a review, I like to have a warranty claim, because I can say, is this particular tool company actually going to honour your claim? In this case, yes they did. So that's really, really good. And as I said, I bought other Gearwrench stuff subsequently. Now, are they the best ratcheting spanners I've ever used? I've already said that. No, they're not. I do like the Sid Chromes a little better, but for the money, would I buy these again? Absolutely. I've seen a similar deal where you get the SAE for free with the metric set and the metric sets on sale. I've seen that deal from Gearwrench a number of times since. Obviously, I have a set now, so I don't need another set. So you can do that, and if I'd seen that set again, I didn't have it, I would buy them again. I've been quite happy with them. The principal things I like about them is I like the angle, that they're not flats, and I like the switch. So I have a set of Jimmy Tools ratcheting spanners, and they're flat. They don't have that angle on the back end of them, and I find that annoying, and I also find the lack of a switch annoying. With a perfectly flat ratcheting spanner, it's not a big deal that it doesn't have the switch, because obviously it's going to be the same angle, you just turn the spanner over. But I don't like that. I'd rather have the angle and be able to change the direction. Now this is particularly important when you're doing stuff in confined spaces, and I bring that up because I've just had to change the rear shock absorbers on my 100 series Land Cruiser, and that was an absolute nightmare job. I hated doing it, but it was made a lot easier once we figured out how to crack the nuts and hold the suspension, the shock absorber body with a pair of Stilsons. See another video for that. The angle allowed me to get up in a very confined space and get enough of to be able to get it off of the ratchet. If I had to do that with the flat, I wouldn't have been able to get it in there. If that was the only ratcheting spanner I had was the flats, I wouldn't have been able to get it in there. I would have been using an offset ring spanner, and I would have been doing it without the ratchet, and that would just, considering how little a turn I was getting, I wasn't even getting a quarter turn, I would have been under there I would have hated that job, and under there for an inordinate amount of time. So these were absolutely brilliant. So I do prefer the angle end and the switch on a ratcheting spanner. So I do like that. Some people don't. They think that they're weaker. That's fine. Personally, I don't use my Jimmy Tool ones. I just don't use them. They're flats. I don't use them because I'd rather have the angle. I cannot think of an example where I've reached for those ones because these couldn't do the job. I can't think of an example of that. So they largely get unused, but they're there for whatever it is. So I've been very happy with this set. As I said, dollar for dollar on the special I got, and it comes around from time to time at retail, and a variety like United Tools and Total Tools and these tool resellers. They do have this deal, similar deals from time to time, and I would distinctly look at that. So if you're after a set of ratcheting spanners, you are on a budget, I would be more than happy to recommend Gearwrench. And if for no other reason, that if you do break them, as long as you're not abusing them, like don't interlock them and put a pipe on them and try and break stuff off with them, because in my opinion, Gearwrench would be well entitled to not honour your warranty if you abuse the tools or you go outside of the specifications that they were designed for. But use them as I have. I've used them for 6 years, one breakage, and I've been very, very happy with them. So I hope that was useful if you're in the market for a set of ratchet spanners. Appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you next time.